how he feels about rings, right? That's what this game is all about, rings. Well, Gilbert Arenas had some issues with some comments you made, but this all started.
Who doesn't have issues with me?
Because LeBron also had some issues as well. On his Mind the Game podcast, they were discussing ring culture and how the stakes are very different, Stephen A., for NBA players versus NFL players. Let's take a listen.
A ring is a team accomplishment. Right. I don't know where it started. It's just it's a long conversation, especially when it comes to, like, you know, me individually. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport. You tell me, you know, Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley and Steve Nash, our wasn't unbelievable. Like, oh, they can't be talked about or discussed with these guys is because this guy won one ring or won two rings or won, like, it's just weird to me. It's like saying Peyton Manning can't be in the same room with Brady or Mahomes because he only has one ring. Barry Bonds never won a World Series, and you can't sit here and tell me that he's not the greatest baseball player to ever touch a bat.
All right, I just got to make one correction of what LeBron said. Peyton did win two.
No. I heard Max, and that was what we were stuck on. I got it. Y'all know y'all proved this point.
I have no idea. First of all, honestly speaking, I just love hearing y'all speak because I have no idea what the hell everybody took issue with me about. I'm waiting to hear. I mean, I just want to hear what everybody has to say, and I'll respond. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what I said personally. Go ahead.
Get him, Gil. Get him, Gil.
You're free. I'm here.
What he's saying is actually correct. Like, when did ring culture become a thing, right? When you talk about a team award, something that a structure needs to win, does not boost you in front of individual accomplishments. And when you used Kobe, would frowned upon what LeBron said, okay, I would disagree with that.
Got you.
I would disagree with that.
I remember what I said there.
In real time, Kobe had 3 rings. Y'all wasn't treating him like a 3-ring player. You were treating him like a sidekick. He was considered a sidekick. He was considered a Robin. He was considered the next Pippen. In 2002, with 3 rings, we were still comparing T-Mac. Who was better in the league? You couldn't convince the NBA down the middle who was better. So
between
T-Mac and Cole.
Totally true.
Right? So if you're sitting there with 3 rings and you're still being compared to someone who doesn't have rings, what do you think happened? I need individual accomplishments. Can you please get rid of Shaq? Right? Because if it was about rings, there was no reason for the fallout with him and Shaq. The fallout was about you only respect the driver of the car. No one respects the passenger of rings. Right? There's no one says it, but the one who's leading the one who's leading the team, that's the gold member right there. That ring counts. The second option ring, that's silver when no one respects it. In history, no one has respected.
Scottie Pippen's
You got Scottie Pippen with 6 rings. That's ranked on the all-time list 32. Right? You got people that don't have rings that's in front of them. So what LeBron is saying is like, wait a minute. When did we take away your greatness as a player and use team structured awards? Right? Because then you're only talking about if you get drafted to Boston, Los Angeles, like, what, half of the league came from big cities that's in, more than half that's in the top 75, right? So it's basically saying whoever has private school teaching in the organization is what wins. Because these public school players down in Memphis, Minnesota, you have a hard time.
Very eloquent argument. You won't get away with it, though, but I'll let y'all go first. I'll be back. Go ahead.
You want to go, T-Mac?
I don't know what he said wrong, but go ahead.
I don't think LeBron said anything wrong. To add to your point,
got it.
What happens is when we diminish the likes of the other players, I'll tell you where it really affects people like athletes. Because then everybody out there starts easily diminishing the talented players.
Right.
So you got people out there who are fans. When we love fans, we got respect for it. Discounting the greatness of the individual talent, calling people bums because they didn't live up to the narrative that the media has set on what defines greatness as greatness.
No disagreement there.
That's my add-on.
Go ahead, T-Mac.
What defines greatness? Is it the championship?
That's one of the elements.
I mean,
in some cases, yeah.
I don't see anything he said wrong. I didn't see your response, but for me, we have too many talented players that come through this league that are championship worthy. What I mean by that, if you take them off a team that is a championship quality team, replace me with Kobe with Shaq. I don't win a championship. You don't think I could carry the Lakers to a championship? Like, I've never had the opportunity.
Correct.
I felt like if I was put in that position to win a championship, I damn sure would show up and do what I do in the playoffs to elevate my team to that level. I just never had the chance. So do I get diminished because I never won a championship?
Right.
Yeah, that's what
Is it my fault?
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Right. Is it my fault? Right. I was never put in that position, Steve.
And then add another layer onto it, T-Mac. Then you have players that start saying, okay, no, now I got to be a de facto GM. Huh? Now I have to be a de facto
and that creates
GM.
the ring
Now I got to find.
Because now players are going everywhere because they need to get the rings.
No.
Now, I get, when it comes to LeBron and he gets traded or goes to Miami.
LeBron wasn't talking about Bron, though, T-Mac.
No, but I'm talking about
the other players.
The one,
In a
not
sense.
two, not three, not four, not five. Now, he put some of that on himself with that. Now, I agree with that.
But
took away one of the nuggets, but go ahead.
No.
Let me give it back.
No, you didn't do that. Right now.
Let y'all have that.
No,
Let y'all have that.
what is true about it is you're talking about a guy who's 40-something now. Right? This is what he's thinking now after he's done played.
Right.
But the early LeBron was doing the narrative. I need to win championships for my legacy. That's what was pushed. When we're little, that's what was pushed to us.
Okay.
Win championships.
Okay.
But no one factors in the school we're at, this organization, right? He's in Cleveland. This owner doesn't know nothing about winning no championship. This is the business for him. I can't afford him. You're forcing the player to think about his legacy first.
Right.
Then he leaves.
Right.
If you're in Los Angeles, you're in Boston, you're in Chicago. I've never seen one player. I've never seen one player in Los Angeles say, "I want to leave." Besides Dwight Howard, I want to get out of here.
He got kicked.
Right? I know. He got ran out. Us fans, we ran him the fuck out of there. I mean, sorry about that. but when you're in a big, city,
right.
You don't want to leave that city.
I got y'all. First of all, none of the points that y'all are making are to be disputed. It's just to be expounded upon. It's nice, that soliloquy that you just gave. It's just a whole bunch of nuggets that you left out. Number one, you already brought it up. Not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, or whatever. You were talking about how he attached that level of narrative. Fine. What are we thinking about? We remember that Magic had Kareem and Worthy and Byron Scott and those cats. We remember that Bird had McHale and Parrish and Dennis Johnson and stuff like that. We remember that Dr. J had Moses Malone. Let's not acting like, oh my God, we see a player out there, what's he playing with, and we don't know who has the peeps with him and who doesn't. We recognize that. But it's also about your skill set, what you bring to the table, what level are you at compared to your contemporaries. So if I'm looking at, for example, there was a time when we were debating about KD. Was KD the best player in the world instead of LeBron because he's a pure scorer? He was 27 a night, et cetera, et cetera. We compartmentalized, we dissected it. We weren't saying you can't play. We weren't saying you're not great. We were acknowledging you are great, but you're being compared to the other great ones. What was the ingredients of a Jordan? What was the ingredients of a Kobe? What was the ingredients of a Magic or a Bird? Because that's what it took to win championships, and what you have it.
Stephen A., just to play devil's advocate, what was the ingredient of a T-Mac?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, but what I'm saying,
But there's, wait, I just want to say, let me say one thing really quick, guys. So there's factors outside of your control in terms of a team effort, but the other thing where it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, you have to win a ring to be considered great, but then also if you leave your team and you move around, then you're knocked for that.
That's not
also.
true.
Yes. No, they are.
That's not true.
Man,
I let everybody talk.
Name one.
I let everybody
Kevin
talk.
Durant.
Hold on. Excuse me. Whether it was Barkley, whether it was Malone, whether it was Patrick Ewing, anybody.
top 10.
When we've seen players that we labeled as great that didn't win championships. It's not like we said, oh, you have to win a championship in order to be great. What we're saying is we're comparing the very great ones that we all undeniably recognize as great, and how do you compare to them? We knew you didn't have the weapons. We got that. If Grant Hill was healthy in Orlando, we think y'all would have won a championship. But that's entirely different than somebody that goes to an NBA Finals, and all of a sudden, everything that you were leading up to that moment, when the moment arrived, where were you? Patrick Ewing was great. How great did he look against Olajuwon? You see, it was a difference. So, in other words, that was your moment. That was your moment to shine. Barkley was great. What happened when he went up against Kobe? MJ. We look at stuff like that. We're not saying you're not great. We're not saying you're not a Hall of Famer. What we're saying is there's levels, and we're respecting it. That's all. That's all. And we're looking at what you have around you. And by the way, Barkley had Kevin Johnson, Dan Marley, and these guys too. They ain't on score team now.
I know
they don't score team. Phoenix was no score team now.
You better land in a good spot if you want to be great.
Yes.
That's all I have to say.
That you're saying are not great, but it comes off that way.
Listen, see,
We just call Giannis an underachiever.
I said, time.
We just call Giannis an underachiever.
Did not.
How does that diminish his, that doesn't diminish his greatness?
Time out, y'all. See?
No, but you talk about the whole package, though.
Hold on, wait a minute. What I said about Giannis, who is phenomenal, is that because of how phenomenal he is, if having captured a championship in 2021, he plays the next 8-9 years, and he never wins a championship again, you're going to look at him and say, damn, we expected more titles. It's not his fault. I didn't blame him for it. I just said,
Hold on. See, this goes back. So after he won the championship, has he made it to the conference finals?
No.
Why?
Injuries.
Injuries.
He was injured, and then Damian Lillard got injured.
I played 4 years in Orlando, got ridiculed because I never got out of the first round. Grant Hill at the time was the best player on that team. This is my 4th year in the league. Grant Hill was the best player on that team.
Right.
So I'm playing 4 years without my best player, can't get out of the first round. But I get ridiculed because I can't do it. Giannis won a championship.
Time out.
He won a championship.
Hold on.
After that, he couldn't get back.
Because you know you're my brother. Here's the deal. Here's how you got ridiculed. Y'all were up 3-1 one time, and you thought y'all had it in the bag.
Can't find that.
Hold on.
Can't find.
What I'm talking about, when you went against Detroit.
Yeah.
Y'all thought y'all had it in the bag.
Because we up 3-1.
You were up 3-1. So, again, it was the fact that if you're good enough to be up 3-1, they expected you to close the deal. That was the only thing
Kobe's
anybody
never
ever
been
said.
up 3-1?
No, I'm just saying. And then when
never been up 3-1.
But when they blew it, we pointed it out.
I'm just saying.
When they blew it, we pointed it out. But we know they're great. But we pointed out you lost a 3-1 lead. I'm saying that's not saying you're not great. It's saying that the moment arrived and y'all didn't close. That's all. It's a fact.
Y'all.
It's a fact.
You said it, y'all.
There you
Okay.
It's a y'all.
Thank you for saying y'all.
It's a y'all. You got to use y'all. You can't
Appreciate
use
it.
the player
Yes.
itself, because it's a school project. It's a team project. Right. There's an A student.
Come on.
That A student final grade from the media is reflected by everybody else. So if you don't have other A students with you,
I happen to know a thing or two about Gilbert Arenas, and Gilbert Arenas, obviously Mr. Buckets himself, is also a pretty astute businessman. Now, you have a team, but when you go to the negotiating table with a team, somewhere along the line you said, yo, I'm here. Hold on, wait a minute. It's not all you, because I'm not trying to say, nor have I ever said, it's not all on you. I'm saying when you talk about a narrative and how the public perceives things, it emanates from that, because somehow, some way, they're looking at you, and it's not 1-on-5, but they're
technically
expectations are not expectations.
As a player, what's the most frustrating part of this conversation for you?
They separate the individual from the team, right? When things don't go right with the team, it's your fault, right? If there's a game 7 and the best player don't perform well, it's his fault. But you could go in history. I remember, was that Boston versus Lakers? Kobe didn't play well in game 7. Ron Artest,
Artest saved the day.
Saved the day. right?
Kobe lost a series to Phoenix in the first round.
By
They
the way,
played
that's every championship.
and
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Like,
makes a shot for Miami.
it's a series.
It's like all that
can't
stuff.
point at the individual.
If
And
you
also,
are,
I say the public perception, we help drive that with what we tell the public.
okay,
Fair?
and that's fair.
So
and
that's where you get the barbershop
But what
talk.
I'm saying to you is this: if I'm a member of the same team as you, and I'm getting paid $50 million, and you get paid $5 million, there's a reason for that. So somebody's going to, I'm not saying that it's always fair, because sometimes your teammate can mess up. Guys ain't getting the job done. It may not be your fault. We recognize that. What I'm saying, however, I'm talking about the expectation going into a situation. I'm not talking about looking at a moment and ignoring what other people didn't do while you did your job. That's egregious. But walking into a situation where expectations and narratives are established, it usually comes associated with the great ones that stand above the crowd. How is that a problem?
Because the great ones also have other cars with them. That helps them there.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, we're Bugattis, right?
Okay.
Ferrari. I got Hondas with me. Who's really winning this race?
That's right.
Who is really winning
I got
this race?
that, and you're right.
But
I don't blame you for that, because that's a damn good point. You're absolutely right. I know that.
You're gonna
I
kill
can't
me
argue with that one.
Come on. So let's go.
It's reliable, but it can't keep up.
Let's go to LeBron. Let's go back to LeBron for a second. When LeBron lost the title to San Antonio, first go round, nobody said a word. We all know that he was at the finals with Hondas.
Yeah.
We all knew that. We knew that. And with Honda, yes, we did. Nobody held against them that they lost to San Antonio. They didn't have that. Nobody held that against
Everybody in
LeBron.
the East was like, that could have been us.
Yep.
I know we was like, man, that could have been us.
Everybody knew
All right,
that.
this is so good.
It is
Well,
sweat.